very excited to have Adam from Wine Selectors here with me today because this is a very budget-friendly recipe. It means that we can spend even more on wine, which is very appealing to me.
Which is a very, very good situation to be in, isn't it? Thank you for having me. This looks amazing.
Well, I'm excited that you're excited because I think these are slightly underrated vegetables or underrated ingredients and often may be considered waste or throwaway, or you could actually utilise some of them.
The Parmesan's caught my eye though.
The Parmesan has caught your eye, and that is kind of our secret ingredient today. This is going to add so much meatiness to this vegetarian dish. It's very savoury, very umami rich.
Brilliant.
A creaminess to this soup, but other than that, I think everything else people will be very familiar with.
Yeah, and I think you were mentioning prior is that these ingredients you'd find in a refrigerator in every home.
Absolutely.
Leftover ingredients, perhaps.
Leftover ingredients. So in terms of the mushies, very good mushroom growers down in Canberra.
Exactly right. And I've got two wines. I'm going to pour you a Shiraz because I think Shiraz is going to work well. And you mentioned umami or savouriness, and I think Canberra Shiraz is renowned for being more medium-bodied but very savoury and spicy. So I think that's going to work really well with the soup that you're going to incorporate these mushrooms into. But I've also got a Riesling.
Okay.
For white wine lovers out there, Riesling from Canberra is one of those kind of region variety fusions.
Okay.
So I'll pour a little glass of that.
Well, I'm going to get you to turn this on because I'm going to get you to do a little bit of cooking for me today.
Wow. I thought I was just going to stand here and watch.
Well, a little bit of stirring. I'll talk you through it.
Brilliant.
So we'll put that on about a medium heat. So I'm going to get this started and then I'm going to ask for your help. So if you want to tell me about those wines.
Yeah, you put me to work, absolutely. I'll pour a glass of Shiraz and a glass of Riesling.
Excellent.
So then you and I have got a bit of a variety while we wait for this soup to cook.
So I'm just putting our onion in first. Again, a really simple ingredient, one that you're all familiar with and a great flavour-based starter.
It's one of those amazing smells, isn't it, onion cooking?
It doesn't matter where it's going, you know that something good is coming. So we've got our celery and our carrot, so really simple flavour base. Now, I've got friends and family in Canberra, so I'm quite familiar with the incredible wines down there, but I don't think everyone in Australia necessarily associates Canberra with wines.
No, obviously Canberra gets a lot of press being the home of Parliament down there, but we should be talking more about how good their wine is.
So while Adam is sauteing those veggies in there, so we're trying not to get too much colour on them. We want this soup to remain quite blonde. So I've got these mushrooms. They're going to add another creamy note to this. Now I'm going to slice 3 of them and they're just going to go straight in on top of this. We're going to be processing this at the end for a nice smooth texture.
Any particular type of mushrooms people should look for?
I'm so glad you
asked. You're about to say.
So in terms of the common field mushroom, these are perfectly fine to be using for this kind of a soup in terms of keeping it really budget friendly. But at different times of year, Canberra grow the most beautiful mushrooms of all varieties, including truffles. So if you wanted to take this budget friendly meal up a couple notches or 10, you might want to do some shaved truffle on the end of it.
Oh, wonderful.
So we'll soften those as well. And then one mushroom I'm actually going to slice up a little more finely so that we can fry it off at the end to use for garnish. So the next ingredient for our soup is actually these Parmesan rinds. So this is the part that you'd usually throw away. It's almost inedible. You can collect these over the course of up to a year and freeze them in your freezer. But this is going to be our flavour bomb. This is our umami-rich, creamy, savoury notes that's going to have all of the flavour extracted into this soup. Some delis will even give them to you for free because they're throwing them away.
Perfect.
So all of that's going in there. I know it's going to get harder to stir, so we're going to add the liquid really soon to relieve you of that. Got some beautiful woody thyme here. You could also add some bay leaves or your other favourite woody herbs. So that's about as far as we're going to go with that before we add our stock. So we've got about 1 litre of stock in there and I'm going to put 1 litre of water in. So if we were going to be doing this in a pressure cooker, it'd probably only need about half an hour in a pressure cooker.
Okay.
On the stovetop, you could cook it for up to 3 hours on a low simmer. So whatever you've got access to, whatever you've got the time for. So we're going to put a lid on that.
Brilliant.
Let all of those flavours relax and go into that delicious umami-rich broth. So I think it's time for us to have a sip of this.
Absolutely.
We'll let that cook. We'll come back and do the garnishes.
Perfect.
Our soup has had about 3 hours on a low simmer, so it's really thickened up nicely and all of those flavors are oozy and gooey. Would you mind blitzing that for me?
Sure.
And then we're going to strain some, and then I'm going to quickly talk about some garnishes. I'm really happy with that, and you can sort of see that the combination of the mushrooms and the Parmesan, it's become quite creamy and quite a bit thicker.
It does, yes.
So it was quite a watery broth before that, and now we've brought all of those solids together. So I'm going to strain some of that. So as I said, it's a little bit of a browny grey colour. As a diner, we'd like to have a visual clue as to what we're eating.
Sure.
So we've got mushrooms in the soup, so I'm gonna put some more mushies as garnish here. We've also got some green garnishes here in terms of getting a little bit more vibrancy. So I've just peeled the ends of the asparagus.
Pops that colour, doesn't it?
Just a little bit of colour. And we've made a spring onion oil.
Talking of colour,
we had some onion in the base of this. So again, we're sort of looking at how else can we incorporate a similar kind of flavour, and we're just going to drizzle it around the top. So nice little droplets of that vibrant green.
So that is just spring onion and oil?
Just spring onions and olive
things.
oil. But again, we're just giving that little hint and pop of colour.
Yeah.
All of the flavour is in the soup, but just a couple of little clues as to what we're eating, what we're going to be enjoying with our beautiful wine.
Absolutely.
So I can't wait to get stuck into this.
Thank you very much for showing me that. That is going to be one that I'll incorporate in my repertoire.
Excellent.
Because that looks very, very easy.
Budget friendly, fairly fuss free.
And look, served with 2 beautiful Canberra district wines.
Wonderful.
Cheers, thank you very much.
You're welcome.